Hello guys, this is Bubble, and we are here in my last part of the Affliction Warlock guide. This one will be about rotation mainly, and explanation of why you will need to reapply your dots. For example, you see this target here. It's ticking for that amount, alright? You see the ticks going on. And then I reapply it with my good dots, and you see the substantial change in amounts. This is because dots do not update in real time. What that means is that when you apply your dot, they remember your exact stats. So when you have your procs, even if your proc's about to run out, like I refresh 2 dots, then throughout the full duration of those dots, they will remember the stats I had, even though my trinket proc isn't up. So it is very vital when you're in the rotation of an Affliction Warlock to reapply your dots when you need to. For example, I'm going to start my rotation just slowly here. I didn't even use Soul Burn or anything. I'm just going to slowly start DPSing. And now I have 2 procs, as you can see. What I'll do is I'll reapply my dots. And with my most powerful dots up, I will use my Haunt. So I'm getting the most damage out of my soul shards. And as you can see, it's ticking quite hard at this moment. And this is because of dots not updating in real time. This means that you can also, when your dot is about to run out, you can still, if there's 2 seconds left on your dot, on your proc, sorry, and you reapply all of your dots via Soul Burn Soul Swap. These dots that you have up there, they will remember the stat you had. It will not change when your proc goes off. So that's the sort of proximity in it. You'll have to like every time it's managing your procs and reapplying dots when you need to. Like every time you get a proc, you would reapply your dots, and if you got 2 or more good procs up, you might want to throw out a Haunt. And right there, I used a Soul Burn Soul Swap right before my third proc ran out. So now I've got a pretty powerful dots up on the target right now. So let's get into the rotation now, since I've explained that. So with our Killian's Cunning, we can channel while we move, right? On some fights, you might want to have your Burning Rush enabled while you're channeling, just so movement speed is still about the same. Which, you will have to talk to your healers and ask them if they're okay with some extra healing. But, so, the dots are really good. Dots are our main damage ability, and there's not really a rotation in our Affliction Warlock damaging story. Yeah, it's a bad way to put it, but it's basically managing dots if you keep up your dots. And I will, after I've explained, I will explain and show you how I would go through a normal rotation. So now you see my dots are about to run off, and I've got all my procs up. That's where I Soul Burn Soul Swapped just to get my good dots up. Now I've got 4 soul shards, so I'm going to use my Haunt. And you see the dots are ticking really damn hard right now. And that's, I don't even have my sacrifice, so I'll show you how that goes when I have sacrificed my pet. And let's just reapply them, and you'll see now they're not ticking that hard. It's because I don't have any procs up. So our Malefic Grasp is the filler. Because if you don't know what Malefic Grasp does, it makes your dots tick for 75% of their damage every 0.9 seconds. And that's good. I mean, when you're moving, you can use your Malefic Grasp. And if you're in a fight where you can't really move with, like if you don't want to get slowed down, let's say on 4 Kings when the guys are coming after you, the what were they called, the pandas. And that's where you would normally, if you had your dots up and you would need to run, you would like to use your Fell Flame when you're running like this. Fell Flame does some damage, but it drains your mana quite quickly, as you can see. It's critic for like 50k though. This, do not use Fell Flame to refresh your dots. It's not really worth it. So during our rotation, what do? We have our dots up. We channel our Malefic Grasp, and we try to keep our haunt up. Like every time we get this proc, I use my haunt most of the time when I get a proc, and like now I precast it right before it runs out, so it will reset at the same duration. But now, how would I start my opener as an Affliction Warlock? I will wait for a minute, and I'm gonna try to get all my procs at the same time, and that's always good. I mean, the more damage you do, even though people sometimes say damage doesn't matter, if the damage is a part of the fight, this is really good. Damage is good. Like, not to say like if we were on Terrors of the Endless Spring that you should be multi-dotting everything or something like that. No. But if it's a part of the fight, let's see, because on Protectors of the Endless in Terrors of the Endless Spring, you might get some extra procs, but it's not really worth DPS whoring it like that, since the bosses do heal up when one of them dies. So it's not considered the objective, I would say, to be multi-dotting them. But another way of multi-dotting is, let's say you're on Garagel Spiritbinder. If you don't know how Garagel Spiritbinder is, I have a video on him somewhere on my channel. You will be able to go to the Spirit Realm, right? If you multi-dot the mobs down there, then you're really helping out with the encounter, because those ads in the Spirit Realm, they do sort of quite a lot of damage to your entire raid. So if you are multi-dotting them and trying to kill as many of them as you can, then you are helping the encounter. That would not be considered any sort of DPS whoring. Anyway, enough of rambling about DPS whoring. I sometimes do it myself, on LFR especially. Alright, we have our Curse of Elements up. We need to keep this up all the time. It's increased magic damage taken by the target by 5%. If you're multi-dotting, you can have it on 2 targets at a time. So, and now, how would my opener work? And let's say we were starting on a fight. If we get heroism to start, this is how I'll typically try to do it. I'll try to have my soul burn up, and a soul shard refreshes every 20 seconds. So when your soul burn, as a raid leader, this is easy. When your soul burns on 19 seconds, you can do your DPM pull countdown for 10 seconds. Then, when he pulls, when there's 9 seconds left of the soul burn, you have all your soul shards. So this is the opener we would do. We'd reapply our dots, we'd do 1 Malefic Grasp to get all our procs, we'd pop a Dark Soul, we would soul burn soul swap, and then we'd haunt. And you'll see up in the left corner that my burst is going to be significantly high, but now my procs are about to run out, so I refresh my dots again via soul burn soul swap. As you can see, I'm doing a roughly 100k burst without any paw. Well, I did use a pre-paw here just to experiment with it, but this is without any sort of flask or raid buff. This is just self-buffed, and this sort of opener works really well. You see, I've still got a couple soul shards, so I can keep putting down my haunt. Now, in one of my videos, my agony fell off. Agony needs to be remained up, but now you see, I recently refreshed my dots and I got 2 procs again. In this situation, I would wait till I need to refresh them, and then refresh them like this. And now I got a third proc, so I would use my Unstable Affliction again. So you really do have to pay attention to your procs when you're DPSing as an Affliction Warlock. You do need to be able to see you need to be able to notice which dots you put up will have the damage increase from your procs. And it's a good trick with this is when because usually your Unstable Affliction and Corruption will run out fights in quite similar amount of time. But now you see I've got 4 soul shards. But now I'm in some sort of trouble. My agony is falling off, so I soul burn soul swap. Because I had a proc up, I did see myself viable to use that. So and this is like how we maintain our damage. Like And it's just managing your procs. That's all I can say about Affliction Warlock. It's practice. You will have to practice. You'll have to be aware of whenever you get procs, and you'll have to try to remember which sort of if you did apply your dots with more powerful procs. Like for saying now, Lightweave is not as good as my Relic of Yulon. I had recently refreshed my dots with Relic of Yulon. So if I would have maintained those dots right before Relic of Yulon fell off, I would not have refreshed them with the Lightweave Whip. But if you will have to, I've got 4 procs. Like I've got Jade Spirit. Jade Spirit can proc up my weapon. I've got the normal Elegant Trinket. I've got Relic of Yulon, and then I have Lightweave. These are 4 really good procs. These are really good procs. So all I can say is that from now, like now you're in the middle of the boss fight, right? And your old dots are all going on, and boss is probably at around 50%. Now would be a good time to start refreshing your Cursive Element so you don't forget to. But now your Dark Soul is back up. What do you do? Well, I personally like to use my Dark Soul when I have my Relic of Yulon proc, because my Relic of Yulon proc is the most powerful one. But I also do notice that I kind of failed with the opener. We did not actually pop our Doomguard. Wow. That's a good guide, guys. But don't be newbie like me and actually remember your Relic of Yulon. Your Doomguard. But now, you see, I've got my Relic of Yulon procced. Now I'm going to wait to see if my Jade Spirit procs before this the timer runs out. And if it does not, I will be Dark Soul and Soulburn Soul Swap, just so I would, because when you pop your Dark Soul, it also works as a stat with all, it will remember the stats of your Dark Soul. So you see I've got 2 timers here indicating when my Dark Soul is about to fall off. Now my Dark Soul is about to fall off and I've got 3 procs. Now I've got all my dots up with Dark Soul power and 3 procs. And now you see the damage I'm doing on the dummy, like the dots are taking for 15 something K, and you know, it's managing the dots, getting an add-on to manage the dots, like weak auras, power auras, something like such. That is the key to Affliction Warlock DPS. And to maintain your soul shards, I try not to like use my haunt if I have 1 soul shard left, because sometimes you're in that situation where Soulburn Soul Swap is just better. Like if you've got all your procs up and they're all about to run out, and you're in a tight spot, you can't really stop and cast, or you can't really be movement hindered, or the boss about to face into another transition, like on Blade Lord when he's almost hitting 20%. I will typically cast a Soulburn Soul Swap just to keep the powerful dots on him, and he'll be on around 19% after we run through all the tornadoes and all that. So that's all I can help you with in this video, as not much else I can cover with it. It's just maintaining your haunt, and then when you're using your filler, you would let's say the target training dummy is now under 20%, you would start using your Drain Soul. Drain Soul will make your dots tick way harder when the mob is under 20%. So this is where you can also stack your haunt. You can always keep your haunt up when the boss is under 20%. As you can see now, I pre-cast it a bit too early then, but it worked out quite fine actually. And now my proc is about to run out, and I was lucky there. 2 of my procs came up at the same time as I did my Soulburn Soul Swap. Now he's around 10%, and I'm just continuously Drain Souling. My dots are probably taking for roughly 40-50k at this point. And you know, that's really all I can teach you guys. It's all I can really show you. And all I can just remind you is that do not forget that you've still got essential abilities like your teleport. Teleport is always neat to use. I'd like to thank you for viewing out all my guides, and if you have any questions, don't be afraid to comment below or send me a private message on YouTube. And yeah, so thank you guys a lot for watching, and I hope these guides really helped you. And yeah, Take care.